Welcome everyone, this is Finally Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
And Cinders.
Hello.
Hello everyone, and after a couple of weeks with little or no news, we certainly have news this week.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Let's begin with some release notes. These are the release notes for update 23.1.6, which we had last week. It's just a small update, where first thing they did was take care of a little problem that they had with the visiting banker, who now correctly gives access to the shared vault and wardrobe, because before it was creating some really nasty problems with that if you tried to look at them. I think if you did it in a certain order or something like that, it didn't work right. So now all that should be working right. And they fixed a bug where picker boxes were incorrectly displaying the item level bonus for items.
That sounds problematic.
Yeah. And they fixed a bug where level 40 to 45 scaling armor was being created with no stats. Oops. And the minimum level for the using of the Traveler steel-bound loot boxes has been reduced to 20. From what I hear, it was 30 before, so they dropped the loot boxes down to 20. For better or for worse. I don't think any of us go around collecting loot boxes enough to worry about such things.
I have them filtered out.
Ah, you have them filtered out to make sure you don't even see them. Okay. You definitely don't care then. And the stat spread on item level loot boxes gear below level 50 has been improved. And quest and adventure areas. Now, this is where I found a little strange. It says the Bingo Boffin weekly quest now advances properly on the legendary servers. On Honor and Ithil, the quest Disproving Bogs will be unlocked on Wednesday, 12/5/2018. That must have been a preemptive one because the patch was on the 4th, I believe, so no one would have noticed the error, I guess, because I didn't notice any problem with any previous weeks. Unless they were doing it manually or something like that.
No idea.
No idea on there. And for known issues, some scaling gear is appearing with improper vitality on levels 39 to 40, on the 39 to 40 break. And Bjornings will become heavy armor class in a future update, but Bjornings opening a Traveler's steel-bound loot box may receive heavy Wayfarer or Traveler's armor that they cannot currently equip. Ooh, right, that's gonna be fun. So, any comments on any of that stuff?
Nope. It's pretty fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah. Then let's go into Bowler Update 23.2 preview number 2. This is the second preview to give another look at the raid anvil on Winterstith, though they also have some other things in here. A few more tweaks relating to classes, where Hunters skill queuing should be much smoother, particularly with blue line race of man hunters. I don't know if anybody
didn't realize it was an issue.
Neither did I. I was about to say ask Sans, but then she was probably playing.
She's a hobbit.
Yeah, she's a hobbit. So why the issue should affect race of man, but not hobbits, I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Did you hear anything from Sans about this, Cinders?
I did not. I don't know how much Sans has been on either because of work and stuff. So, and I don't know that she has any human hunters. I think they're all hobbits.
Well, I was just thinking that maybe she could have given us a comment on why they're saying particularly race of man and why wasn't affecting hobbits and stuff like that. You might know better than I would.
I don't know, but without having a race of man hunters, she might not have ever noticed that there would be an issue to know why or what is particular to them that might make it different.
Well, that is a point there. For lore masters, the command pet can no longer be used directly to target other players. The use of this ability in sparring was causing significant performance issues.
I'm good with that. Let's say I don't spar, so I didn't know there was an issue. Just as a general rule, I hit decline if it happens to pop up, but then Sam showed me how to turn it off so it doesn't pop up. I don't spar. I think Terry has witnessed, like, the one and only time I've ever sparred, and it was with Sanswinda.
It was hilarious.
And it was very hilarious. But
I seem to recall I was healing you.
Yes, because I was dying as the heavy armor class.
You were the champion and she was the burglar and you were losing.
Yes.
And I was healing and you were still losing.
Yes. And I was even over level compared to her and I was still losing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't spar.
That's okay. Don't feel bad because I sparred with Sans once and it was my champion versus her hunter and I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because she was in blue line and she ran.
Well, and you guys need to understand Sans has no mercy. Like, even in real life, we had the opportunity to spar once and she has no mercy. So I just kind of stood there and just let her beat on me for a little bit. She was happier afterwards because she'd been mad going into it, but Sans does not have mercy as a general rule when it comes to sparring. So,
I mean, she will tell you that the sparring session that we had was the most terrifying thing she's ever seen because my human is like twice her size. And I opened with Devastating Strike, and let me tell you, it's pretty fierce to be on the other side of that. But her reflexes kicked in and she ran away from me, which makes it a really not fair fight when you're hunter versus champion.
Very true.
Yeah. Now, I noticed that they did this for Lore Master, but not for Captain. I don't know what the difference is with Captains versus Lore Masters.
I don't know. My only thought would be with a Lore Master, if you can get your pet on them, oftentimes the pet can hold any aggro, any and all aggro. But I don't know, having not played a higher level Captain, if that would be something that a Captain pet could do as well.
Well, it says it has to do with performance issues, so maybe it has to do with the fact that there are certain effects that happen when your Lore Master pet is targeting somebody versus what happens when the Captain pet is targeting somebody.
Yeah.
Possibly. But the other thing is the fact that it says it can no longer directly target other players, which implies that if you're sparring with someone, their AI would still go and attack the other person.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, and it might be a case where if you're attacked, your pet's, that setting would still work where it would protect you, but you can't actually sick it on them. Oh, and it could have been for the sick it function too.
Might be the entire reason for it.
Because that uses the same command pet feature. Or can use it.
Yeah, alright. It might have to do with Sikkim, perhaps.
Wow.
Then, with the Captain, Oathbreaker's Shame is now only usable once per target in a single... I should note, though, that since this time they have tweaked this again, and when it goes live, it is going to be slightly different what they say here. I think it's got something like a 3-minute cooldown or something like this, because there were complaints about this being used in boss fights and stuff like this. When you had very, very long boss fights, being able to use Oathbreaker's Shame was
I don't even know what that is.
It is
That tells you how well I play Captains, right?
Well, it's something, though, very often if you're in a raid or something like this, the Captain usually announces when they're about to do it, because you have these blue Oathbreakers going all around the target, and when that's done, it's time to let loose on there because it causes everybody's damage to be enhanced as a result of it. So therefore, they announce in advance when they're getting ready to do Oathbreakers so that everyone be ready to prep up not to use their best skills right there if there's going to be a cooldown on it. So they will wait until Oathbreakers is up so they can really bang on the opponent there. But it looks like it's something like 3 minutes or something like that is what they're considering on there. We'll see that when they have the patch notes up for the next time around. But yes, there was a lot of backlash when that one went up, so there are going to be some tweaks to that one. For quests and adventure areas, Survival Barrel Downs, the Weathering of the Storm set has returned. These deeds can now be completed at your current level. I think this is the deed that used to be done by doing everything at level cap or something like that, which when you have a moving level cap became a bit of a problem. So I'm guessing that you could just advance the deed now by doing Survival Barrel Downs at level, which is reasonable, I guess. See, the giant ghostly reed imposter in the Midgewater Marsh has been vanquished. Whatever. And of course, a few T-poses were taken care of. And then Helicrod Spiderwing, Zandru's brood, much to Ollie Spiderbane's and Sanswinda's dismay, Zandru's brood has grown slightly larger. It should now be easier to complete this quest.
If Sans were here, she'd be going, ew, 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 ew.
In Fangor's Edge, horns now survive long enough for you to make an effort to save them. They must have been really dying quickly. I guess they're dead before you had a chance to save them, I guess. And in Blood of the Black Serpent, monster difficulty has been reduced on tier 2 difficulty, and Throne of Dread Terror. Once the final encounter is completed, Fell Strike will now be immediately dispelled. I'm not familiar enough with Throne of Dread Terror to know what that is, but I do remember that there used to be a really, really nasty thing that happens, and I thought it was maybe in Throne or something like that, which created some problems, I guess. Yes, dispelling it at the end when the boss ends, I guess, is a good time to do it. In Silent Street, there is now an additional wall of shadows blocking access to the House of the Kings until the final encounter is defeated. Alright. And fixed a keg carry animation into Winter Home content. Well, considering how many people carry that keg, I mean, really, you're familiar with that quest, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, and you'd imagine how many people do that every day just about in order to help to do their daily quest in the area or to work on the quest within the... Yeah, so with all these people doing it, yeah, a keg carrying animation error is something that should be fixed. And
Yeah.
in Glimmer... Oh.
I was just agreeing with you. I don't know that I've ever noticed an error with it, even with all the times I've done it, so...
I don't think I've ever noticed maybe it happened with a certain race or class or something like that. Maybe when Bjornings are carrying it or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's right. Blame the bears.
And in Glimmerdeep, hobgoblins now count towards the Goblin Slayer deed in the Glimmerdeep instance. Then in UI, there is a new panel called Socket Control that can be used to socket or unsocket essences individually for Mithril. To access the panel, either shift double click a socketable item or drag a socketable item onto the new essence.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. And they also fixed an issue where if you opened up a bank and failed in a certain way, you could not open the bank again until re-logging. And this is tied in with the visiting banker item.
Mm.
And in fact, what happened is if you had the bug in the visiting banker, it would often lock up regular banks also. And you can now use Marks of the Longbeard to barter for dwarf iron fragments in arid Mithrin. Alright, whatever. And for known issues, bears are not done yet. Also, bears are not done yet! And in case you wondered, bears! Upcoming changes! And a forum post talking about additional changes that they have in mind for Bjornings. Now, I should note that, as we mentioned last week, the raid is not coming out until January, so therefore won't be finished before the end of the year. Thus, they had to wonder, what about all these other changes? Are they going to have to wait for the raid? What they decided to do is that next week they're planning on posting a 23.1.7, which is to include the changes from Bullroarer that aren't tied into the raid, or at least the ones that make, because there are probably some they decide that aren't ready yet and others that they decide to do. I'm sure they're trying to figure out
And
exactly
probably not the bears, because bears are still not done.
The question is whether they're already done on the Standing Stone side, and B, whether or not they feel that they could, if it's done. Because I got the impression from Cordovan when he was doing his Court of the Rings that they are planning to have the bears in that update.
Oh, okay.
We will see.
We may have a bunch of bears up in arms.
Well, it probably depends on the exact state, because if the bears are in a better state than they are now, and besides, they have to at least have the heavy armor thing because of the known issue with the heavy armor not coming out on the loot boxes. So therefore, at the very least, they had to have the ability to use heavy armor. The other thing that was noted is that they plan to open up the Yuletide Festival with the update. The festival was originally scheduled to start on the 18th, but it looks like that they are going to start it early. In other words, with the patch. So if the patch comes on Tuesday, it could be as much as a week earlier than they originally were planning. That's, of course, assuming that there isn't some sort of breaker. But one of the reasons why they want to get this update out is so they could have the stuff for the Yule Festival. And with that, we'll go into the rather surprise news of the week. And actually, this one for me, it was a double surprise, because first, they had something similar that they announced on Tuesday for DDO. And then, of course, Draculetta was speculating, I wonder if they're going to consider having something like this for LOTRO also. And then was it late Thursday or early on Friday where they made this announcement for the Legacy Bundle, which is the LOTRO equivalent of what they announced for DDO. And this is essentially, I'm trying to think of how to describe it, because this is a package that includes all sorts of weird things in it, such as, this is First of all, let me give you the sticker shock first, all right? Let's start with sticker shock. And that is that this little bundle is going to cost you $200. Well, $199, of course, but what really is, and this is a limited time offer for $199. You can get from December 7th through December 16th, 2018. You get this big bundle that includes 1 year of VIP. Since VIP for a year costs $99, that means essentially it's $100 for the rest of the stuff. And in addition to this, you get all of the content. I should say that all of the quest packs, including expansion quest packs, but obviously not the other expansion stuff. All of the quest packs that were released prior to December 31st, 2018. So that means things like Where Dragons Dwell, Legacy of the Necromancer, Battle of the Black Gate, March of the King, Baranorian, Oldenar, la 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 la, going all the way down to Inenweiss and Eregion, so you have all that stuff, plus the quest packs that go with the various expansions. But excluding, of course, the expansion pre-order stuff and bonus items and all those other weird things that you also get when you order an expansion. And you get those unlocked even after you go out of VIP. So therefore, you'll be VIP for a year, so you'll have access to that stuff anyway. But when VIP goes out, you will still have those items. So you'll have those forever after that. And you'll also get for all of your characters a Crystal of Remembrance. Now, I believe the Crystal of Remembrance, that's the one that gives you the additional slot to your LI. I get a pair of those every time I create a new character because of pre-orders, because those are things that were included in pre-orders of some of the expansions. And you'll also get one legacy package for a character of your choice. And this legacy package includes first of all, it unlocks the premium wallet account wide, but for your character in question gets 250 mithril coins. Well, I guess that would then transfer across the server for that case. The writing skill, 5 vitality stat tome pickers, 10 skill and slayer deed boosts, 10 reputation supplies, a fleet-footed goat, a mount picker for Steed of the White City, Steed of the Citadel Guard, Forest Elk, and Snow Bee Steed, and a housing kit which includes 20 housing writs, a bird bath, a hedgehog house, premium ingredients crates, a fish pond, superior farmland, superior oven, superior workbench, superior study, superior forge, a sleeping cat, a bevy of swans ice sculpture, a makeshift mumok, a house property guard, and a Gondorian supplier horn. And that is all for in the LOTRO market for $199.
So if you click the link that's in the show notes to the article that was posted on the site, Eldaleth, so the reason I heard about the Legacy Bundle was Eldaleth was talking about it in Discord. And she and Aerithert put together a spreadsheet which breaks down the cost, the LOTRO point costs versus plus monetary cost for expansions plus all of the other stuff. So basically, if you were to buy the LOTRO points bundles to get enough LOTRO points to get all of these things individually, the things that you can get from the store, because there are a couple of things in here that you can't, like the mount picker box is one. You could get each of those mounts individually from the store, but the picker box itself is not a thing, and then the fish pond is also not available in the store. So if you get all of the LOTRO points for that, plus all of the expansions, plus the year of VIP, it's if you don't already have any of this stuff, because it's kind of more for people who don't have all of that stuff already. It breaks down to a total value of $569.93 plus a horse and a goldfish.
Plus a horse and a goldfish.
That's actually the total listed in the spreadsheet. It's the total value plus a horse and a goldfish, which I thought was fantastic. But yeah, the LOTRO point cost was 44,715 LOTRO points, and that's not counting the expansions, which they went with monetary cost for that. So the quad pack plus Helm's Deep and Mordor is $119.97, and then you've got the year of VIP on top of that, which is $99.99. So for people who don't have like bunches of this stuff already, this is a great deal. For those of us like me who I've already got all of the expansions, I'm already VIP. I'm actually 6 months in. This is halfway through my billing cycle, so I'm 6 months into VIP.
Yeah. I should know.
So the housing stuff, and I don't do much with housing, but I did talk my mom into getting it for her character. So
I should note that if you are currently VIP, it does extend your VIP for a year.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
It also changes your billing date to like the new date, and my billing date is the date it is for reasons.
Well, it changes your billing date? I wonder why it does that, because you still have the rest of your other VIP time, so you would think that
you would think it would just, I don't know, but I could have sworn it said it changed your billing date. I don't actually remember now.
Well, there could always be weird stuff that happens as a result of something like this.
Anyway, I didn't get it for me, but I did talk Mom into getting it for her, and then we got it all set up for the character that she was going to get the boosts on, and I did not go through and open the boxes. I told her she could do that herself, and then I showed her the link, and so she read through it, and she's reading through all of the stuff, and she's like, this is really good. I said, yeah, but I've got like most of this already. And then she's continuing. And I think what sold her on it was the fact that she gets all of this unlocked like permanently.
Right.
When she doesn't already have it. So yeah, we got it for her.
That's right. Someone who doesn't have much and expects to be playing the game in the future, could be good. If you are someone who intends to be VIP for the long term, probably not as good. And if you're like me, a lifer, it's a complete waste of money. Yes. Because for me, I don't even have they're saying, well, it's only $100 if you take into account the year of VIP. Yes, but a year of VIP to a lifer means nothing.
Well, and really, when you look at it, that it already has expansions that I've already paid for, and I'm getting. I mean, it doesn't include the pre-order bonus and stuff that you can get from getting expansions, but it has all of the quests, which is the important stuff. And I already paid for the expansions and got the bonus stuff for some of them. So, I mean, for me, it would be like the house and the goldfish, and that's not worth $200. But for people who don't already have all of this, it's a great deal.
Yeah. Any comments, Arianis? Oh, Cinders.
Cinder. Well, so as I was listening to this, I realized that I have been really privileged to have Sanswinda in my life because she has made sure that I have had all of the expansions and stuff as they've come on sale over this last year. So I have a lot of the things. I don't have the pre-orders and the bonuses, but she has gotten me set up pretty well. So I have all of the expansions and the quests and everything available to me. And like Terry, I mean, I'm paying for VIP because that's what I needed to keep up with Sanswinda. So the reason that I play really has to do with having time with my sister and just making sure that I can be a part of things that matter to her. And I've had a lot of fun doing it, so it's totally worth it as well. And so for me, like reading over that, I was like, I've got a lot of that already. I'm kind of in the same spot where I don't need most of that. I do think it'd be cool if the fish pond becomes available.
The horse and the goldfish is nice, but
yeah, I think the fish pond would be really cool. But other than that, I mean, most of the horses I have the opportunity to acquire at some point when I want them, and some of them, frankly, I don't really like the look of. I would rather not have them. So I don't know. I think especially for new players, like who haven't had the time to build up this or who don't have a pocket Sanswinda telling you what to get and what you need, it's probably a fantastic idea. And that would be my comments and my take on it. So
I'm wondering if there are any people who have dual accounts thinking, should I get this for my second account? Now, of course, I don't even use a second account, and if all you use your second account for is storage, it's obviously not worth it.
So, Sanswinda has at least 2 accounts. And she has done the same thing that she did for me as things have come on sale, she's just bought them for herself. For both accounts, so that she has everything, regardless of which account she's playing on. So, she even bought the Mordor bundle for both accounts.
That's crazy.
So she just, I don't know how she does it. But that mattered to her, and so that's what she did. I have the 1 account, and I'm like, that is plenty. I can't even keep up with what I have. But yeah.
She keeps 2. All right.
I know for sure she has 2 accounts. She may have more, but I know for sure she has 2.
Yeah, all right. We can. Let's head on then, unless anyone else has anything to add on this. Then let's head into the beacon for this week, and in the beacon, it looks like someone with a pumpkin head is on top.
Yay, Harvest Festival.
Yeah, Harvest Festival. The Harvest Festival is the encore for the Harvest Festival is finishing up. I should note that since I said that we could be starting the Yule Festival with the patch this week, obviously they will have to close the Harvest Festival before opening up the Yule Festival.
right.
I mean, would you want both at the same time?
I think it would be fun for like a day or 2. I don't know that. I mean, especially if
you get total festival burnout.
Well, I mean, if you've been holding out waiting because it's too laggy in one festival area, then when everything's in Winterhome, you could totally do everything in Hobbiton, and the Shire. And then as everybody who's super excited for Yule Festival starts to get tired, you could pick up with the end of that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that reminded me. They are planning on having 2, I believe it's 2 festival instances related to the Yule Festival.
Ooh, that's cool.
Now, I don't know exactly what the style is. I get the impression almost that I'm wondering if one of them is, well, I'm not too sure if PvP is the right word for it, but it gave me the Cordovan gave an impression that it was some sort of something similar to a snowball fight thing. Though whether it's an instance to save the snowbite field to have snow fights against monsters, or if it's a PvP area where you could have snow fights against other fruits, I don't know. But snowball fights is probably one of the few ways you could have PvP in this game without breaking lore. Other than the Moors, of course.
Yeah. And say, I know that when you do the snowball fights, you are playing against other characters, and same with beer bashing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not at Yule Fest, but.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact plans are. I guess we'll find out next week if the festival starts early. There is a group of friends on Crick Hollow who are looking for players to join them in raids and instances, and you could click on the link in the beacon to read more about the group. That's really specific.
The click here to read more about the group is not really any more specific than that either. Because I clicked on it to read more about the group.
Yeah. At least they say any class at level 120 or reasonably close. You typically play. They tell you when they do it. They give the times and stuff like that. But all right.
They say it's not like a kin thing. They say 120 or and preferably this, but we'll totally take anybody who's just trying out grouping. Like, I think they want company.
Yeah. And then you could click for the final 15 of the 7th biannual Housing Week in Middle-earth contest. Just say, showing what the final 15 look like, or? Okay, yes, they have the final 15 houses. Ooh, alright. And they include the screenshots of the exterior and the interior of each of these homes. So if you want to see some interesting takes on housing decoration, you can check these out. I just never thought of placing a horn in a dwarf housing area.
I've seen Stranger Things.
And you could watch the performance that the Andoni Ensemble gave on December 2nd by clicking on their link. And a mysterious mission from Lobelia, a continuation of Toolman's Treasures, will be happening on Sunday, December 8th. So if you're listening live, you still have time. And this will be on Laurelin. And that is, I will presume that sometime, let's see, start time is December 9th, Sunday, December 9th at 19:30 p.m. for 1 hour, and 19:30 p.m. sounds a bit redundant there. That'll be 7:30 p.m. or 19:30 if you go by 24-hour time at Bag End, Hobbiton, a mysterious mission from Lobelia, whatever that is about. And when they say 7:30 p.m., I will presume that they mean server time. Yeah, they say 2:30 p.m. That is 7:30 p.m. UK time, 2:30 p.m. for server time. All right, so it's 2:30 if you're going by server time instead of by UK time. Now, for the Kin Hall, the Rangers of the West is a rank 10 socially focused kin on the Gladden server. They welcome all levels of classes. While they enjoy regular grouping and raiding, their real goal is leading the server in fellowship and fun. Check out their website or send a tell to Lily Rose or any officer of Rangers of the West. They'll be happy to answer any questions about their kinship. One of their features that they have there is their Friday night open group where everyone gets together on Friday night and they have something which someone decides to lead on it and they go on a particular item in there, and sometimes it's a higher level quest, sometimes it's a lower level quest, all sorts of things like that. In fact, a couple of weeks ago we did something related. We took a new group of characters that hadn't done Bingo Boffin yet and started on Bingo Boffin. Hopefully we'll continue on that at some point. And this is the kinship that I'm a member of on Gladden. So this is Rangers of the West on Gladden. And our weekly comment. How are you preparing for Yule?
In game, I absolutely am not at this point. In real life, I've been drinking lots of hot cocoa.
Drinking lots of cocoa. Well, for me, it's been hot cider instead, but I guess something similar.
Say cocoa with whipped cream and little mini chocolate chips. Best thing ever. Oh, and I've been eating gingerbread.
Oh, yeah. And baking it, too, in order so that you could eat it.
Yes.
I take it that Terry couldn't come up with anything.
Well, I'm not prepping for Yule in game, and I'm trying to do as little prep as possible out of game.
Yeah.
I work in retail, and they've been playing Christmas music nonstop since like November started. So yeah. Moving on.
You're moving on. Yes. Let's head into the fan site news then. You could watch Midgard and Middle Earth with the Tolkien Professor. And you could watch Gondor Has No Druids with Druid's Fire, and Epic Shenanigans with Tesla the Panda, and Adventures After Dark with Big Ed Mustafa. And you watch Spies in the Forest, Legacy of the Necromancer Part 14 with Ann Dang. And you could watch Easy Loss with me, Vegan Pants, in the Udun Foothold. And you can watch Flights of Fancy with Wayward Plane, and watch Middle Earth with The Moose, and watch The Road Goes Ever On with Gravity. And of course, you also have Chord of the Rings on Fridays at noon server time. And our screenshot of the week, that looks like it's either a glorious sunrise or sunset, depending on... I'm not too sure which direction they're facing.
They are facing west, because isn't that Weathertop in the distance? I'm pretty sure this is North Downs. Actually, no, they are facing west, but that's the hill in the Midgewater. This is the border right at Lonelands and Breeland.
Oh, okay.
Facing toward the town of Bree. So you've got your Midgewater ruins there, and then that hill with the goblin camp on it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I knew it was a North Down shot, and I also knew it was a sunset shot. Sunrise looks different.
Shows you how much I've paid attention to that.
I don't know that I really pay attention to it either, except I see a lot of screenshots, so.
Yes. Then, that's it for the weekend this week. Let's head into our store sales. And Terry, what is for sale?
Crafting junk? Let's see. Oh, the weekly coupon gets you a black die ×1 with coupon code black die. That's exciting.
Ooh.
20% off crafting guild access, ingredient packs, crafting accelerators, rapid craft, crafting tiers, and recipe books. Which is good, because actually, as much as I don't do crafting, I was thinking I needed to pick up a recipe book for somebody. Week 1 of Yule Savings, also now through December 13th. 35% off Stat Tome selection boxes, 50% off Skill and Slayer Deed Boost ×25, and 75% off the Full Moon Night Seed Bundle, whatever that is.
Yes, yeah, we've been trying to figure out, what is that?
Whatever that is.
I have a question really quickly before we move away from this. What are the recipe books, and how are they different than just having recipe drops?
Oh, so the recipe book is something you get from the store, and it basically includes all of the recipes for it here.
Okay.
Except for the stuff you can get from the rep vendors.
Okay.
And the guild ones, obviously. But it's got anything so all of the ones that normally would just come off of drops, it's got all of those.
Okay.
Which is handy for a couple of cooking tiers don't really have anything except for what drops. And I think Sarissa was wanting to do some cooking.
Okay. I was just curious.
Because she needs level appropriate food.
Level appropriate. Oh, yes, that's always useful.
Level 84. She's level 84.
Let's head into our new player question of the week. And Cinders, what's your question?
Sorry, trying to get to it without putting in all kinds of Z's. So, how does the stealth mechanic work on NPC and player characters? And I was wondering because my lore master in Erin Mithrin was able to see one of the black arrows, but not the other two, even with her special skill.
It's a combination of race, class, a lore master boost if you've got one up, and some RNG stuff, and whether or not the enemy is moving.
Okay.
It's easier to spot something stealthed if it's moving as opposed to standing still.
Right. That's one of the reasons that if you're sometimes when I'm a burglar and I want to stealth by someone, I usually try to use distraction so that the opponent faces in the other way so I could more easily sneak by the person because they're a little bit distracted and not particularly aware, facing the wrong way. It makes it a whole lot easier to get by them. So yes, there's a little bit of RNG luck in there. And I have this thing sometimes where I say, you see something in the area, but you're having trouble telling there, especially when you're in Mirkwood trying to find those
goblin spies.
Yes, those goblin spies and scouts and all that fun stuff that you've got.
You can find them just fine as long as you don't actually need to kill them. And I know this because every time I have the quest to kill them, I cannot find the darn things. And the second I've managed to turn that quest in, they're all over the place. It's every time I run out that stupid door in that, whatever that middle fortress is.
Yes.
Oh, there's that one goblin spile that nails me every time.
Yes. Yeah, it is. They can be annoying. Now, does that answer your question, or did you have more that you wanted to know about it?
No, that answers my question, and it makes sense, so.
Yeah. So, yes, the vigilance thing that Lore Masters has just gives you a better chance at doing it. And also, at least some skill, I don't know if all of them do, but at least some stealth skills do allow you to see stealth characters more easily. I guess because you're being very, very quiet, so you're able to hear quiet things more easily, I guess the reason for that. And that concludes our new player questions. So let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Terry Edwin, what were you up to?
Well, you're not going to be happy about this, but I skirmished irresponsibly this week.
What?
Yeah, Keosaurus has been leveling up her dwarf Farrar and was level 189, and we were the only two to show up for Girls of Middle-earth this week, and then Maven joined us later. So instead of trying to do anything halfway planned, we're like, you know what, let's just keep leveling the dwarf. So we were running skirmishes at level 115, which 6 levels under Farrar was still getting experience with. And basically, I discovered that Terry can solo the duo skirms at level 115, and then level 116. And then she and Glordriel took on the level 116 quest, or skirmish, that was a trio, because Farrar was basically just, kind of... It was great, because you could see that Farrar was really trying, but I don't know that it was really making much of a difference having him there. And then Terry Adwin discovered Thicko Gundu. She hasn't yet run the instance, but we did get up there in the landscape, and had an awesome moment of totally playing a champion, because we get there and we're through the wall, and something comes down from above and lands on us, and I'm like, ooh, a drake! And just killed it. And I'm like, yeah, what does it say about me that my reaction to that was, ooh, a drake, and then, oh crap, it's a dragon. But, champion, and that's actually what San said. She's like, champion. I said, well, yeah. Because honestly, on any other alt, I probably would have freaked out a little bit by having something just randomly land on me from the sky. But Tara just takes it in stride, just hack away at it. It's on the ground. She can totally hit it.
Well, there is that.
Super, super excited to run the Steel Keep instance, which is our homework before we play again this week, because, reasons. But I finished out also my Grey Mountains book, so I have to be able to get that into my house, because I want to hear the Dwarven voiceover, because the Dwarven voiceover is really cool. Yeah. And then...
many of the Rust pages, by the way, are inside the Tickle Durundu instance.
Awesome. Which those are narrated by Karazgar. And then eventually we have to get to Glimmerdeep so we can finish out the Secret Diary of Smaug.
Right.
And then earlier this week I was running my burglar Sarissa through some quests in Rohan, and was discussing the qualities of Ents with a 7-year-old who, first of all, I had to explain what an Ent was. But I was actually really surprised because I always forget that kids can read. And Lily, my niece, is actually a really good reader. She's actually like ahead of the rest of her class in reading. So I'm going through that instance where you have the Treebeard and he's with Merry and Pippin, and it's the Gandalf version one, not the elf or the Ent play, the session play that you get later. But so the floaty text is over their heads, and she's leaning over and she's reading out loud what's on my screen. And I was like, oh, okay. Child reads, okay. So, yeah. Cinders, how was your week?
My week was actually really pretty boring. I did a little bit of deeding with Keosaurus and Sanswinda on some of our alts that were in need of becoming more virtuous. And so we were looking for deeds to finish out virtues. She was still working on Farrar, and Sanswinda was working on Amalora. And so I was running around on my, my Sanswinda mockery. I believe her name is Sanswinda, as she is a hunter. So we were running around doing that, and then I finally got around to doing this week's patch this morning, and I also, I don't remember what day it was, I completed the Black Book as far as it has gone, so I think that's chapter 8.7, so that was what I did. Pineleaf, what have you been up to?
Let us begin with my warden on Honor, who completed all of the deeds in the Shire, which is probably only the second character I have who's managed to complete every single one of those deeds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just finally see that meta deed. I think it's definitely the first time I completed that deed at level 12, because most of my other characters, the other one I think did way over level or something like that. So therefore at level 12 I finished up all the quests and deeds in the Shire. The only thing I did not do that wise is the Gift of the North. I did not do that, since that is a group quest. But outside of that, I did every single deed and quest in the Shire. Now, this does not include special weird quests. I did not do festival quests. I decided that the Encore was not a good time to do that. I do plan to be doing Yule quests with this character, so I will have to remember on doing that. I've got one more bingo boffin to do on there, so that doesn't count as a Shire quest. And it does not include doing all of the chicken quests. That I consider those to be special quests, but of the things that are labeled as Shire quests, I've finished all of those, as well as their deeds. And I think that's probably the first time in a long time where I did not finish up the Wolf and Goblin deeds in a skirmish. And in the field trip, we had a small group there. It was just Xerox and I, so therefore we returned to our Moria characters that we haven't played in a little while. We ran the quests in the 21st Hall and in the Redhorn Loads. Then we went over and did the part of the Epic Storyline where you're supposed to find that junction in the second hall. After doing that, we wound up going from there into that section where Balin was, and you have all those insects. And he was showing me where the logic puzzle was. But I think it has been years since I've seen that logic puzzle, and I don't think I ever knew it was there. I think he's saying that they might have moved it at some point, and I might have seen it there, whatever. But it's been a long time since I saw that logic puzzle, so I finished up the evening there by going through that again and completing that particular item. And then in Friday Night Fights, which is one of the two things I do on Friday nights. On Friday nights, I'm either on Gladden doing their Friday night event, but it looks like they're taking a break for the... Oh, I should have mentioned that was before. The Gladden group's Friday night event open group is on hiatus for the month of December because of all the holiday stuff and getting people together then. So I was on Landreval for their Friday night group that they have, and we ran 2 skirmish raids, Trouble in Tuckborough and The Way of Smiths.
What is the Way of Smiths?
The Battle of the Way of Smiths? How far have you got through Moria?
Oh, it's in Moria.
Yeah, it's a Moria skirmish.
I've probably done it and didn't realize I was doing it.
That's possible. It's the one where you have to do those 3 skirmishes in order to do the epic storyline?
Then I'm sure I did it. Probably way over level.
It's the Heart of Fire one.
Okay, then yes, I've done it.
Yeah, yes, it's one in the Heart of Fire.
Okay,
yes.
And I set it on the lowest.
The Battle of the Way of Smiths, but it takes place in the Heart of Fire.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, the Heart of Fire is a location inside the Way of Smiths or something like that. So, therefore, for some reason, they decided to name it after the Way of Smiths instead of after the Heart of Fire. I guess maybe they decided the name sounded better there. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. And we have a featured comment this week, and Terry, what is this?
We had a comment that was left on YouTube on our last episode. I'm a new player and got the Mordor bundle with the Area of the Valar. I was wondering, since I have never leveled to max, if it was a good idea to use the Area of the Valar or level to max the traditional way first. So my answer is level to max the traditional way first. Or at the very least, level 250 the traditional way, whatever class you're thinking of RAing.
So, I pretty much did what Biz Turnbite is saying that they are considering doing, and I did not have a character even to level 50, and I used the Arya of the Valar. Now, that being said, you probably will want to make the LOTRO wiki your very best friend, and be on the lookout for other players who you've heard, like maybe even Sanswinda, because she would totally talk to you if you happen to catch her on. But find people who are at max level, or close to, who you might be able to get some tips and tricks from. So that would be my advice if you choose to do the route that I did. I had Pocket Sanswinda. So, I did not have any issues, and she was able to connect me with people who could help me with my character, which is why Cinderina has been so successful. She probably would not have been nearly as successful if she had to figure it out all on her own, but I've had loads and loads of help. So, ask for help if you choose to do it, just for the fun of doing it.
Yeah, just note, though, that this means either you'll be some way or another missing a great deal of content if you do this. And in LOTRO, one of the very important steps to it is I consider the story and the progression and leveling to be more important than the end game. And I know some people feel differently on the matter.
I don't necessarily think that progression and leveling is all that important, but I will agree that the story is completely important.
Yes.
So if you do decide to Aria a character and you have not finished all of the story stuff, you need to make sure you go back and finish the story because it is definitely worth doing. Actually, that's kind of my favorite way to do it is with an overleveled character.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Overlevel makes everything easier, at least in the sense that not everything is trying to kill you while you're going through it. So you can actually really enjoy taking the time to read pop-up text and things like that because you're not trying to fend off mobs.
Right.
And in particular, in Angmar, there is a part of the epic story that has to be completed or you will die going by things that have the watching stones. So, regardless of what you do or your play style, you want to make sure you get that done if you ever intend to go by watching stone.
Yep, Book 6 of Volume 1 of the Epic Storyline. Very important to do if you plan to do anything in Angmar. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, and Lotra Players @LotraPlayers, Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf @PineleafNeedle, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terryadwin @Terryadwin, and Cinders @Emeralina. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LotraPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pilot Fuels reminding you to skirmish responsibly.